Okay, so hi, I'm Tanith. I made How to Bind a Demon, and we did this last year before coronavirus. And it kind of came about in that we wanted to make something fun. We wanted to make something that, we weren't seeing a lot of when it came to Northern Irish films. So essentially, it's a bit of a prep for maybe a development piece. And we would like to make a web series with it. And I was working in London at the time when I met Elliot, who plays the demon, and Thea, who plays the best friend. And they're fantastic, fantastic actors. So I then met Tasha through auditions. And then the crew I actually met completely through Cinemagic. And so we had an amazing shoot, and it was really good fun.
Well, that is excellent. And Tanith, thankfully it was all made before lockdown this year, but what challenges did you face with it? Like, what would you have said was the most steep learning curve with it, for example?
Combining practical effects with special effects, and I suppose it was my first big short film with a fundraised budget that we had done, and so with the tiny budget that we had, trying to give enough to each department so that we could get the best from it. But definitely more the editing process was the biggest thing that I had to learn from.
Great, okay. No problem. Well, if anyone else has any questions, we'll do a little sort of roundup at the end, but that's great. And actually, so in terms of the funding, was that all crowd-funded? Did you apply for funding, or was it all very much self-financed?
So we didn't apply for funding, we self-financed it. We created a crowdfund thing, can't remember what website we used, but we just sent it round and said, look, well, my producer actually put together a pack that said whatever amount that you donated, we would give you something for that. So for example, free tickets to the screening, which obviously hasn't happened yet, but when we're allowed to do that, they'll all have free tickets to the screening. And then, the more money they donated, they would get artwork, they would get this, they would get that. And it really helped.
Great, okay, very entrepreneurial and brilliant, in terms of everything involved, in terms of all the collaborations and all of the different crew, and getting that off the ground. So well done, and congratulations on being shortlisted in Cinemagic.
Thank you.
And always great to hear how Cinemagic can bring people together, of course, as well. Brilliant. Okay, Jake, same sort of thing, just if you can tell us the name of your film and a little bit about it, and really just how it came to be for you.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so I'm Jake. I'm the director of Replica, The Shadow, which is a short sci-fi inspired by the Blade Runner universe of replicants and man creating machines that are lifelike. So my film takes place 100 years or so from now in an alternate world where we have created life in the form of these replicants, and one bounty hunter is tasked with hunting down the first prototype of these machines that's gone rogue and escaped.
And tell us how that process was for you in terms of the idea, the development of the idea, and right through to production. Was it a smooth process? Did it take longer than planned, or what way did that process go for you?
It was quite smooth. It came about because a few years back I made a trilogy of shorts called Replica, where it was set more ahead of where this film takes place. And we had the idea, wait, why don't we go back and do a more prequel, more to the start of the universe and how it all came to be. That way we weren't tied so much to the characters in the original trilogy and didn't have to stay with that as much. So that's kind of where the idea came from, and then it just expanded from there. And some of the challenges, it went quite smooth, to be honest, other than the production being delayed quite a while, not due to the virus, because we managed to finish it before that, just actors availability, locations and whatnot, because it was completely zero budget for the most part. But it was pretty smooth other than that. And
then with the sort of virtual platform now, with a lot of festivals going forward, has it actually been screened anywhere else physically, or is this the first time that it will reach newer and different audiences?
This will be the first time it's been actually screened at a festival.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, well, good stuff. We're glad to be able to showcase it. And as I said, like, we will be able to reach new audiences, and rather than a one-off screening, you know, they are going to be available over, I think it's a 10-day period starting on the 16th of October. So that's great. Thank you very much. Over to Jake Kettyles then now. Hi, Jake. You're very welcome. So yeah, same sort of thing. First of all, congratulations on being shortlisted in Cinemagic Young Filmmaker. What is your film about, and how did it come to be?
So my film, Emily, it came to be through my A level, basically. I had to make film, and I thought rather than just phoning it in, I should put a lot of effort into it and do something I was, enjoyed. So I shot the film and edited it within a month, and it was mostly, I directed it and I shot it, and I helped with writing, but mostly my friend Eilish, who I know through Cinemagic, through BFI Film Academy, helped me write it. And in return, I shot her film, Dawn, which is also shortlisted.
Yep, we're chatting to Eilish later on today.
So, yeah, mine's about, it's like post-apocalyptic type of thing. It's quite like, it's a boy who's on his own and his mother's disappeared, and he's been surviving on his own. But then a girl appears, and not appears, but he finds a girl, and it's all about trust dynamics and if he actually does trust her or not, and about just kind of like paranoia in a post-apocalyptic society.
And is this something in terms of like a genre that you would like to explore further, or?
Yeah. I absolutely love like sci-fi, but more grounded sci-fi. I've done a Blade Runner inspired short before, and I've done like kind of Close Encounters type thing. I'm slowly going towards, with everything I do, it's going more grounded sci-fi, more like technology, more human condition type thing. But I really love that genre.
Yeah, well, that is brilliant. And as well as that, just I suppose too, with studying film and moving image arts, it really gives you a chance to explore the areas that you're very much interested in, and develop that.
Moving image arts is a fantastic course.
Brilliant. No, that's great. And a lot of other films, across the board that have been made, actually the inspiration and the sort of reason and the sort of fuel to get them made is because people are making them as part of college courses and school courses, and part of their like final year graduation films and things like that. And the standard has been excellent. So thank you, Jake. Yours is excellent as well, and we're very much happy to fly the flag as well for Northern Ireland talent, so thank you. Okay, and then over to Kyle Yan. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, my name's Kyan, and I'm the director of Dancing in the Dark, which is a short film. It's a short thriller, kind of like romantic film that follows a couple who are stuck in a car park as their car's just broken down. And the whole film explores their relationship, because as they wait for their friend to pick them up, it's revealed that they're not quite who you seem they are. So the film explores their characters, and the idea came back in 2018, and it took like a year to write on and off, and then we actually shot it last year before COVID, back in August, and it's all set in a car park, and yeah.
And is this something that you're very passionate about in terms of filmmaking? Like, are you continuing to work in film and in this climate? I know it's difficult, but is it something that you're pursuing now actively as well?
Yeah, so rather than directing now, I'm pursuing cinematography, like that side, the camera department. But I'm studying film, a BA at Middlesex University down in London. So I'm here now. And yeah, through that, I'm just exploring all the paths within like filmmaking and just learning new things.
Excellent, thank you. And what do you find, across, this is for anybody to answer, but what is the most difficult thing for you at the moment in making films? Is it settling on the idea? Is it getting the actual production up and running? Is it budget? I'm just wondering, at your age, what do you find is the most difficult aspect, apart from having to juggle work and real life and everything as well. Like what are the stumbling blocks that perhaps not just Cinemagic, but that other bodies in the sector can help young people with?
I feel like it's mainly budget and timing, and also like finding places to film, getting the cast and crew together. So I think there's a lot of like little things that add up that present themselves as obstacles that you have to overcome. But I'd say mainly budget, because you need quite a bit of, well, it's hard to film a very ambitious film with such little amount of money. So you just got to know the right people and just try and wiggle your way through to get some budget.
And I was going to say, Jake, Kettyles, just with having the moving image arts under your belt as well, like, is that something that you've felt has stood you in good stead for even having the know-how to go out and just pick up a camera and make?
Absolutely. Like, moving image covers everything you could need. Like, I'm doing HND in film now.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask. Is that what you're doing now? I wasn't
What
sure.
I'm doing now is that I'm half taking a year out. I'm doing a HND in film 2 days a week, and then I'm working for a media company.
Oh, brilliant.
I've actually just had a documentary released in cinemas, so that was exciting.
Is that a Belfast-based company?
Yeah, Bancos Media, they're called.
Okay, brilliant.
With moving image arts, it's really good to meet people who are also into film, but a lot of people who do it will just pick it up because it's a subject in school. But you can kind of find the people that are passionate as well. And through moving image, I've been exposed to way more opportunities, like BFI Film Academy with Cinemagic. I did that, and I've met so many lifelong friends through that. And maybe the most useful thing is that you get as a group of people to work with and make films with. I think for me, budget isn't that much of an issue because, like, I shot Emily on no budget. Also, like, in terms of equipment, where you're studying and stuff, like, you can take equipment from there and use it. But the main thing is finding people to work with that you know you work well with, and you'll be able to get something done. You'll be happy with it. So moving images really help with that.
Sure. Well, that's great, and congratulations on doing the HND and half getting a placement as well and working. So that's brilliant. Tanith, then you are very skilled in bringing people together and, you know, getting productions off the ground or getting ideas. And I know you're interested in the other craft areas of filmmaking as well. Do you find that is something you'd recommend, you know, in terms of being open to other areas in the film industry and sort of networking as much as possible with different people who have different skills?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think, you know, it's really hard to find certain people to be on your crew, like sound people, really hard to find. And I think if you can skill up in lots of different areas, not too many so that you know you're all over the place, but if you can skill up in other areas, it makes you an asset. And, you know, even if you want to direct or write or whatever, being able to do sound or production design, which is my thing, is really, really beneficial because it gets you on lots of different films. You can go, oh, well, you know, they direct this way, or they write this way, or they shoot this way, and it's only ever going to benefit you. And especially, you know, I find myself just making lots of friends, and when you're friends with lots of people who want to make films, then there's nothing really stopping you. For me, the one thing that, you know, I kind of struggle with is what to do with the film after. Cinemagic is a great opportunity, festivals are great opportunities, but even in other ways. But coming back to like skills and stuff like that, my thing is production design. And I think a lot of short films, you know, they tend to not use art departments. And for me, that was one place where I wanted to be different. I wanted to be art department heavy because that's my thing, that's what I love. And I also study fine art at university because I would like to also be a production designer and stuff like that. So, and I've done that for lots of short films.
Great. No, that's brilliant. And it is so important just to be open to networking and skilling up in other areas as well. And it's nearly like that the pieces of the jigsaw, you know, you can see how the other departments all fit when you do have experience and even just a little insight to how each area works. And then Jake Bentley, do you find then, you know, is that something you think about when you're making a film and an idea for a film, you know, once it's made, the exhibition side of things, you know, audience development and getting your content out there for the wider world to see? Is that something that you've thought about much, or?
I used to find distribution the hardest part. I mean, I think most people do with, it's like you make all these short films and what do you do? I mean, we've got a few hundred that I've made now, and it's like, you know, where do you put them? So originally I used to just, you know, do what a lot of people start with, is just put them on YouTube, online and whatnot. But the thing is, they kind of just sit there digitally rotting in a way, like not really doing a lot. You know, even if you get a few 100,000 views on YouTube, which a couple of my films did, like, you know, it hasn't done anything to help.
Yeah, then what?
So I then thought, when in the last few years, was like, okay, we need to step up our distribution, what we're doing with them. So we started entering hundreds of festivals and Film Freeway, constantly every few weeks Googling like all the other festivals that aren't listed on Film Freeway and whatnot. And then eventually we got in partnership with a couple of distributors, and now have put some of our stuff on Blu-ray and DVD and are in multiple festivals. So it's something we've been really concentrating on, is that side of film rather than just making them now.
Yeah, that's really, really important. And that's a whole craft in itself in terms of exhibition and distribution and marketing. And that's what I always say as well, you know, from a Cinemagic point of view, you know, whenever young people are making films, do think about why you're making them. It's to let people see them, and, you know, even just in terms of the genre and the content and all of that, you know, you want as wide a wider range of people to see them then, you know, once they are ready to be launched and, you know, released. But that's great, actually, knowing just those little insights as well. And, you know, nearly that side of things, and Jake as well, that's the next level, really just getting out there and seeing who you can talk with in terms of distribution and being part of festivals and networking with people and actually saying, you know, just going for it and kind of saying, you know, will you take my film, you know, will you include it in your festival, you know, is it something that is suitable for a DVD release, for example? Because especially now there's so many ways to independently market and release content as well. So yeah, well, you all sound like you have a good grasp, absolutely, on, you know, the filmmaking and film exhibition side of things. And we very much, you know, at Cinemagic do want to encourage you. We want to signpost you to opportunities and you know, help you along the way and put you in contact with other people that can very much sort of hone in on your talents and help develop your skills.
Hello, my name is Molly Hoque and I'm the writer and director of The Inspector. So The Inspector is a black comedy about a TV license inspector who is doing her rounds, and when she comes across a suspicious man, she decides to take matters into her own hands and investigate. It's basically a satire on TV licenses, because I just think it's ridiculous. Like, I don't really understand what a TV license is. I don't know if there are TV license inspectors. I assume there are. So this is like my weird exaggerated world where TV license inspectors have the power and authority of, like, you know, an FBI agent or something. The film is inspired by Silence of the Lambs. One of the scenes, the end scenes, when Clarice Starling, the main character, goes to the house of this murderer called Buffalo Bill, that's what this film is mirroring. So I guess it's kind of, you know, it's me paying homage to The Silence of the Lambs, which is a movie that I really, really like. One of the reasons that I wanted to make this film is because I wanted to practice like prop work, and, you know, it's more of a focus on turning a location into a different place. So the whole film was shot in my house, in my kitchen, in my bathroom, and in my living room. So the kitchen scene, me and my mom basically decorated the whole kitchen and made it look disgusting. And like, I got Halloween props and like put them in jars to make it look like there was dead body parts in the fridge and things. And turning my sitting room kind of into this weird dungeon place was really fun. We had to play with the camera a lot to make rooms look smaller. So that was really interesting to do, and also playing with lighting was really fun. This film was written and directed by me, but it was a collective effort with Kildare Young Filmmakers, which is the film group that I'm a part of. This is the second film that we've made that I've written and directed, and I think you can kind of tell that we're more comfortable with each other during this film. I feel like we got to take more risks on set and things because we just were in a routine with each other, and time management was very good and nothing really went wrong on the day, which was excellent. You know, it was very well organized and fun to do as well, and it also gave me time to spend more time with the actors to make sure that they kind of understand where we were in the film and, you know, how they were feeling, because it's hard to explain the tone of a comedy when the tone of the comedy is really, really serious. But all of the actors in the film really took their roles seriously, and that actually just contributes to how funny it is. And I'm really happy that they were such phenomenal actors. Like, I couldn't have asked for anything better. As a filmmaker, as a young filmmaker, it was really nice to do this short film and for it to be just kind of funny, and the fact that it came out during a time that wasn't so funny in the real world, I hope that it brought a lot of laughter and, you know, just positive energy to people, because it made my day making it, so I hope you enjoy it also.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.